So I'm here today with step number 2 on the 5 easy steps to designing your own fitness program. This step is actually designing your program. So in the first step, you've decided basically what you want to target and where your fitness level is at now and how it's going to improve or how you hope it will improve. So this is designing your own fitness program. So it's very easy to say, I want to run a mile every day. It's much harder to actually design a feasible program where running that mile or whatever you may be running is going to help you get better and is going to realistically fit into your schedule, because you may say you want to run, say, 10 miles a day, but if you just don't have time to do that between work and or school and everything else you do, then it's just not going to happen and you're going to end up not doing anything. So the first step to designing your program is considering your fitness goals. First of all, are they realistic? Because you're probably not going to be able to run a marathon in under an hour just by training for a few months or ever, because that would be a pretty fast pace. But that's another story. So you have to consider your realistic fitness goals. And when you're considering this, you have to factor in A, where you are now, B, how much time you think you can dedicate to this every day, and C, how long you want to have this fitness program for. When do you want to achieve this goal by? Because if it's in 2 months, then you're going to have to come up with a goal slightly more realistic than a goal you might set for 5 months from now, and you'll have more time to train. So you have to be realistic not only about what you think you can achieve in the time frame you have, but also what you think you can achieve on a daily basis that will help you get you there. So then the second program part of it is to create a balanced plan. So you have to think about what you're doing and think about getting your entire body fit if just fitness is your goal. I mean, if you want to, even if you're training for, say, a marathon, you still have to think about, okay, well, some days I'm going to have to work on abs or other body parts, not just running, because everything contributes to any activity you do. So the entire body has to be in good shape. So you have to create a program. You probably won't have time to hit every single part of your body every single day. So maybe Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays you go for a run. Thursdays you lift weights. Fridays you cycle because that works more on your legs. Anything like that. Just something that's balanced and is ultimately going to target what you want to target. And obviously you want to devote more days to what you actually are hoping to accomplish. So if I'll go back to the marathon example. If you're hoping to run a marathon, you want to devote more days to actually running and fewer days to weightlifting, but you still want to throw them in there. So after that, you have to remember to go at your own pace because, well, as I mentioned earlier, you may not have time every day to do this amazing 50 miles, but you also have to make sure that you're not saying, okay, I'm going to start out running 1 mile, and the next week I'm going to run 10 miles, because that's not a realistic pace, and you're just going to end up hurting yourself. So you really have to pace your improvements and your increases in what you're doing. So you also, and this goes back to what we were talking about before, have to build the activity into your daily routine. Think about, when are you going to have time to do this? And really plan it out, because it's easy to say, oh, I'll fit in a run sometime. And then the day comes and it's gone and you're like, oh, I never got my run in. Well, that's because you didn't plan. And sometimes you're not going to have time all at once. Say you want to go for a 30-minute run and you just sincerely don't have 30 minutes of your day, but you have 15 minutes here and 15 minutes there. Well, go for 15 minutes on your lunch break and then 15 minutes in between school and going to your piano lesson. And then you get your half-hour run in. You had to break it up and you had to fit it around your schedule, but it still gets done. After that, you have to make sure you plan to include different activities, because in any fitness routine, and I don't care what it is you're training for or if you're just trying to get fit overall, you cannot do the same thing every day. You will get bored and then quit, because you do not want to keep doing the same thing every day, because it will drive you crazy. So even if you're planning to, and I'll go back to the same example, I'm sorry if I'm getting repetitive here, run a marathon. You do not want to run every single day. You're just not going to want to do it. Some days, your body's going to be so tired. You're like, I just can't run. And some days you just don't want to. So you have to think about something called cross-training. It's where you do other activities different to your actual main activity that still help you. So some days, instead of running, you might swim. It still gives you cardio, but it's easier on your body. And it works other body parts. It works your shoulders, your arms, things like that. Your abs. And then some days you might want to cycle. Some days you might want to just go to the gym and go on an elliptical. Or if you don't have that option and you want to just take an easy day, just go for a walk or a light jog, or just go for less time, change up your route, anything like that. You just got to vary your activities. And you also have to allow time for recovery. So you probably cannot, just starting out from not doing any exercise to bam, an exercise program, you're not going to be able to exercise every day. Your body will be physically exhausted, and then it will start to deteriorate, and that's how you get an injury. So you have to make sure you plan in rest days when you take time off and allow your body to heal. I find that a great rest day is Sunday, because you've had your entire working week and you have a day to rest before you start the drill over again. Finally, you have to put this plan on paper. It's easy to verbally promise things, but unless you're looking at it in paper, chances are you'll forget, or it'll be easy to ignore. But if you have a piece of paper staring you in the face, it's going to be hard to say, oh, I guess I won't run today. And I find it's helpful to put little check boxes next to it, because you really want to be able to check it off and physically see that you have accomplished something. See it on paper, in writing, be able to show it to other people. And that little check box is going to motivate you more than you might think. So just to review, for step 2, design your fitness program, make it feasible, and make it fun. That's all for now. We'll get to step 3 in the next video.